We'll start with prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Manish Dada, can we have the pledge on the screen? I request Krishna Dada to start with pledge.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, thank you. I request Krishna Dada to start the pledge.
Everyone, please take the position of pledge. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against off-low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Krishna Dada. Now I request Hemlata Tai to introduce our guest speaker.
Hari Om to all. Am I audible, Dada?
Yes, Tai. Perfect.
Hari Om to one and all. It is my pleasure to introduce Shri Tribhuvan Sachdeva. Before introducing Sir, I would like to share my one experience. Before few days, when our principal Kulkarni Dada shared with me few videos of Shri Surendraji Sachdeva and Shri Tribhuvanji Sachdevas. And I got that prachiti of Swanubhav, that my self experience of through these videos of Divyanubhav. So it's very wonderful. All videos are there. So definitely I'm going to watch these videos one by one of today's speakers and of course his fathers also. So that whenever we listen these videos, definitely that self-experience Anubhav we are getting, and definitely that what they are getting their Divyanubhav through their life. So it's very good experience. And now about today's speaker, that Shri Tribhuvanji Sachdeva is an ardent, passionate devotee who attributes everything Shri Sathya Sai Baba. He is leading income tax and financial consultant, an alumnus and later faculty member of Shri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Puttaparthi. He is a very effective storyteller and orator. He is honorary secretary of Shri Sathya Sai Vihar, Sathya Sai Vidya Mandir Vihar, Indore. He is an exceptional motivational speaker who inspire always teachers to do their best. And definitely all we teachers are eager to listen him in today's session. Over to Lokesh Dada. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hemlata Tai. As we all know, we are going through the orientation program, and such a wonderful person we have today as a speaker. So I want everyone to take the advantage of it. Yes, over to Tribhuvanji. The floor is yours, sir.
Hari Om, and a very hearty good morning to one and all. Offering my most prayerful salutations to my Lord and Master, Sri Sathya Sai Baba. I feel myself very lucky today that I have been given this opportunity to be in touch with some of the live teachers who are in the beautiful, or I may say, the most soul-searching profession of teaching. It's a very pious work, and not every person in this world can get this opportunity to be a teacher. So before I start, I would like to make a small quote about the education system which Sri Sathya Sai Baba had made. He had verily said that the education system of any country is like a bank on which the country draws strong, reliable young men and women. When this system goes bankrupt, as ours has very nearly gone, it spells a national disaster. What is required is that we need to overhaul and lubricate the system so that the values which all our saints and sages had taught us in the earlier years, in the ancient time, they come back to all our children. Normally, in our lives, whenever somebody is to ask that what is the status of any society, what is the reflection of a society, so we look at the younger generation, the students, and from there we judge where the country is heading. In case of India, if the children are hardworking, they are intelligent, they want to build a career, so people will say that yes, this country is progressive. If the children are taking to drugs, the children are taking to easy habits, when the children are going the wrong way, we again blame the students. But who is really to be held answerable for this? Whether the students turn out to be good citizens, or the students turn out to be indifferent citizens, or the student community turns out to be an absolutely nightmare. So, a small example can be taken. Let's say our principal sir, Shri Kishore Kulkarni ji, has made a new house. And when he makes a new house, he invites all his friends, teacher friends from various Chinmaya mission schools to come over and come for the housewarming party. So you come and you appreciate the beautiful house he has made. You look around, you say, what a beautiful living room, very nice kitchen, very modern rooms which you have made. Then they go into the bedroom, and then from there they go inside the bathroom. And then they see the bathroom is so beautifully made, and the Jaguar fittings and the latest fittings are all there. And you congratulate Mr. Kulkarni for very good taste in building a house. Then he calls you over for some snacks and some food. You all have those snacks and food which he has served. And afterwards, as is the tradition, when we eat with hands, we need to go and wash our hands. So he says, please come down, occupy any bathroom, or there are wash basins everywhere. Please go and wash your hands. So you go there and you appreciate the beautiful, shiny, golden and silver Jaguar fittings, and you turn on the Jaguar fitting, and suddenly dirty water starts coming out of the tap. So what do? Would you blame that Jaguar tap which is there, or would you blame that overhead tank which holds the water? So all of you would say, sir, obviously we will blame that overhead tank, which probably has not been cleaned. Mr. Kulkarni probably overlooked this fact that so many guests would be coming. He should have at least cleaned up that tank. And so that when we wash our hands and we use the water, clean water comes out. How can we blame the tap for this purpose? The tap will only give out whatever is stored on the overhead tank. So this is where the example ends. But then who is the overhead tank and who is the tap? So it has been said that the tap is the student community of this country. And who is the overhead tank? The society, the parents, and the teachers at large are the overhead tanks. If the overhead tank is clean, the water which will flow and which will emanate out of the taps is bound to be clean. So if at all anyone needs to do a little bit of soul searching, I think it is the society, it is the parents, it is also the teachers who need to do. Because the children will only reflect what has been taught to them, what they have learned. They will not probably follow all what you teach them in the class or what the parents tell that jhoot mat bolo, don't do this, don't do that. But they will follow their, they watch the parents, they watch the teachers, and they understand by watching that how much of that which they tell us do they follow themselves. So this is a very big thing, a wake-up call for all of us, that if we want our students to be inspiring, motivational lot, we want them to be good citizens of this country, we want that each one of them should move ahead. So then we should all have to clean our overhead tanks in a way so that we give out the pure, unsullied waters to the children, which will flow out from the taps. You know, when a student does very well in his life, there are only two people who always feel extremely happy about the student's success. When a student does well, the first persons who will feel very happy about his progress and about his success would be obviously his parents. The parents would feel extremely proud that my son, my daughter has done exceedingly well. And the second person who is going to feel very proud when the student does better than that person is the guru, is the teacher. When the guru realizes that he had taught a particular child and the child excels himself or herself in that field of specific education and the child makes a name, the guru feels that probably this is to his advantage, this is to his glory that the child has done well. And the guru feels so elated. So it is only such a beautiful profession, being a teacher, that only you can feel that happiness when the child or the person you have taught excels himself and he does better than what you have done in your life. We talk about making our lives better, especially in this age of pandemic. Now, how do we make our lives better? We all know how to live. Even the animals know how to live. Huh? And what happens in that life, as Shankaracharya had said, punarapi janamam, punarapi maranam. You keep taking consecutive births and you keep dying number of times, only to take birth again, not realizing the purpose for which you are born. So let us understand why this human body has been given to us. Why is it that we need to learn the art of living in our lives? Because when we were born, the parents were there to guide us in our childhood. When we came to the school, the teacher guided us. When we grew up, we realized now nobody else is there to guide us. And then we feel lost sometimes because we were so used to being guided first by our elders, by parents, then teachers. And sometimes we probably go astray. The whole problem is because life does not come with an instruction manual. So it becomes the responsibility of our teachers to guide the children as to how they should know this art of better living in their lives. So let's go on to this journey. And in this next 1 hour or a 15 minutes extra, let's try to understand how can we make our lives better? Because we are living. All of us are living. We all get up in the morning, have a cup of tea. After that, go take a shower, get ready, go and comb in front of the mirror, get ready. After that, go have breakfast, offer up prayers in between, and then go to the school, finish off our work, come back again, then check up your homework copies or whatever, take up tuitions or whatever work, attend to family. And then before the day ends over, and we don't know what we've done, what we've really achieved. So let us understand what is it which can make our lives better. Are we ready? Shall we proceed on this journey? So I will now focus my talk only on two primary things. I'm not going to speak on high funda philosophy. I'm not going to talk to you very great like a Sanskrit scholar who will churn out shlokas, as some of are prone to do that. But then I'm going to speak in your language, which you will understand, which you will appreciate, so that you can transfer it to the children who are there under you. See, better is a very subjective term. Better is a subjective term. One would say my life is better than Ram's life. One will say my life is better than Sham's life. One would say my life is better than so and so's life. Now, better is a subjective term. You might say that my life is better than the life of so and so person. But the so and so person doesn't feel that way. He feels, no, my life is good the way I am. I'm a very contented person. I'm a happy person and I'm leading life the way I want. So why should I compare? But then when we live in this life, we understand that better is always subjective. What might be better for you may not be better for the other person. So let us understand, as we understand and we call that better is subjective, we can make our lives better by two ways. And what are those two ways? One is the quantitative way, and the second is the qualitative way. Now, we all understand the quantitative way, but still, for the benefit of those of us who do not confuse it or do not misquote this terminology, we will first understand how to make our lives better quantitatively and how to make our lives better qualitatively. Now, how do we really improve our lives quantitatively? So let us go back to the time when you were a small child. You were a toddler. You did not know how to walk. You did not know how to walk. Your mom would carry, your dad would carry, your grandparents would carry. And life used to be such great fun. Somebody would come and tickle your nose. Somebody would come and do choo 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 choo. They will do like that. And you will smile spontaneously. Somebody would come. The only time you would cry is when you would feel hungry or you have probably wetted your clothes. Without that, there was no pain. There was no misery. Everything was bliss. And you would laugh so many times. You would kick your legs, kick your hands. But then suddenly you learned how to walk. And you realize there is so much to discover in the house. You started going, you started pulling the cables, you started pulling the television down, the telephone down, the artifacts which your mom and dad had kept, they all put them on a safer position. Why? Because the munna or the munni should not go and bring it down. But then that discover, want to put everything in your mouth and see how it tastes. So all those things. Then you gradually know how to run. And when you know how to run, the spirit of competition comes into you. Can I run better than my brothers and sisters? Can I run better than my friends? And then, that you start becoming competitive. And then on top of it, there are certain people around you. Those of you who must have seen that movie called Three Idiots. I say you must watch that movie. Those of you who have watched that movie in this pandemic time, watch it again. The other day, I was whiling away a little bit of my time I had at hand, and I was wondering what I must watch. And I watched this movie, Three Idiots, all over again. And I realized that movie created such beautiful, tender moments. How many times I must have had tears in my eyes while watching this movie. How many times certain scenes touched my heart. How many times I felt that I could do better in life by just watching that movie. It is such an inspirational and a motivational movie. So I would say we can do that as part of our pandemic exercise while we are at home, that watch this movie all over again. So as we grow up, then we want to go to the school. And sometimes our parents will go and drop you. And as we grow up, we tell our parents that, Dad, please buy me a bicycle. So we buy a bicycle, and then we feel very happy that now I've got a cycle under me, and you can probably roam around the whole colony, the whole school, the whole town, wherever you are living, and you feel you are like a free bird. And then as you grow up a little more, you come into your 11th and 12th standard, you see cycling is a little bit of an effort, and what happens is by the time I reach school, I turn sweaty and, I want to look good and my hair should not fly away and all that. So what you do, you request your mom and dad, can I get a moped or a scooter or a small little mobike? So depending on how the parents can oblige you, they'll buy you a moped or they'll buy you a small scooty or they'll buy you a mobike. So now you are probably on top of the world. You were once a toddler, you couldn't walk, you learned walking, then you got a cycle, and now you have a motorbike under you. My God, what more can a youngster aspire in life quantitatively? Now he's on a mobike. So he goes around the whole town zooming in that mobike or scooty with his hair flying in the air, the wind touching you and brushing you, and you feel probably you're the happiest person on this earth. And By the time you realize you've passed out of school, you're passing out of college, your education is almost complete, and you are on to getting into a job. And once you get into a job, you're earning a neat package, and then you feel that this is time, payback time. I must do something for my parents. You help them out, you start contributing in your home, and then you realize that the scooty has served its purpose. Now I need something like a bullet motorcycle, like a macho man would want to sit on a motorbike, or probably the ladies would want a much better scooty, upgraded scooty kind, with all the indicators and this and that. So then you get that and you feel probably you have reached somewhere. With that bullet, when you go, you feel every eye is watching you. When that mobile make that duck 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 sound and you go by, you feel probably when you stop at the traffic signal, everyone is watching you. Who is this smart handsome man sitting on that mobile like that hero of a movie? And you probably feel, oh my god, my life couldn't be better. And then it happens that your parents look for a good girl for you. You get married. Now you're a family man. And before long, you have a child in your family. And then you realize that probably somewhere down the line, now that motorcycle, that bullet, which was probably the cynosure of your eyes, doesn't serve your purpose very much. So now you think that I must get an entry level car because, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's very hot. And I have to take my wife and also my kid. So maybe an entry level car should be it. So you look for a Maruti Alto and you buy a Maruti Alto and you're a proud owner of a Maruti Alto. And when you go there, all your friends, all your building people, all your colony people look at you proudly. Wow, some and so has bought a car. And you yet feel that your life has become better, that you were probably on a motorcycle and now you're on a car. And then years tend to pass on. You are working very hard to get everything for your family. And somewhere down the line, you realize that everybody has an Alto. I mean, you must get a premium segment car. So now you buy a Ford car. And when you buy a Ford car, again, it gives you happiness. But that happiness is again short-lived, like the cycle gave you, like that moped gave you, like that motorcycle gave you, like that Alto gave you. And then before long, you are going to touch almost your 40s and you say, I must have an SUV. And an SUV which has strong power so that wherever I go, I mean, off-roading or on picnics or on Kacha Road, I mean, people should say, what a lovely ice this is. It is. So now you buy an SUV for yourself. And before long, you are almost 50 and you have worked hard for yourself for the lifetime. And now you say that I have arrived. But I have arrived. But how do people know? I'm driving an SUV. Now, what if I must have a Mercedes or a Mercedes Benz, or probably a BMW or an Audi car, or maybe a Porsche, to show people that I am rich and famous and people should know? So then you go and buy yourself one of these branded cars which are highly priced. And you say to yourself that, yes, my life has become better. I started my career on a cycle, came to a moped, came to a motorbike, came to an Alto, came to an SUV, came to a premium segment car. And now I am on such a beautiful Mercedes car of my own. But before long, you realize that there is a Mukesh Ambani, there is a Adani, there is a Tata, there are Birlas, and then they have their helicopters of their own. They have private jets. I mean, they don't stand in Air India line to get to Bombay or Delhi. I mean, they fly away wherever they want. And you hear that Mr. Birla held a wedding in Bahrain, and probably all the glitterati, all the industrialists, all the film stars, all the sports stars came in their private jets. And now you aspire a helipad at your house, a jet. So what I mean to say here is, quantitatively, you are happy for some time when you own that asset. But when you look up, you find there are always people who are above you and you want to emulate them. Nothing wrong in that. But when you emulate them, you realize that your life becomes a painful process for you. You realize that you have to earn more money. You realize that I have to put in more working hours. I have to do so much more. I have to do better to come to that level where these people have come. And in that process, you have to sell out your values sometimes out of the window. You have to do wrong things and you're willing to do it because you feel that these quantitative things will give me happiness. But when by the time you are 60, 65, you realize that all these worldly things did give me happiness, but that happiness was short-lived. It was only for a few days when I saw a car parked in my house, when I bought a bigger bungalow. But after sometimes It became past. I wanted something more. So what is that something more which your soul aspires? It is not quantitative happiness. So quantitatively, you have made your life better. But have you made your life better qualitatively? So you would say, sir, what's wrong? It is better if I have to cry, let me cry in a Mercedes car rather than crying on a cycle. At least I am happier that I'm crying in a Mercedes car. Why should I cry on a cycle? Maybe you are right there. But how do you make your life qualitatively? If you want to make your life quantitatively, maybe I'll give you a course on MBA, how to become a better manager, how to become a better teacher, how to get more number of students. Maybe I'll take a class of economics and tell you how to multiply your wealth. I'm a chartered accountant. We are a firm of chartered accountants and tax lawyers. We do it all the time to our clients. Maybe I can do that, but this is not why we have gathered here. We have understood that quantitatively happiness comes to me, but it doesn't really make my life happy or better for long. So now we'll come down to qualitative terms, how to make my life qualitative better. But before I go on to qualitative, I'm reminded of a small little example, a small story. What happens is normally when a person gives any talk, so sometimes you love certain points, but you forget them. But if there is always a story related with it, so you remember the story as an example, and the hidden knowledge or the hidden wisdom also comes out of it. So there were two brothers once upon a time, and both the brothers could not see eye to eye with each other. Both of them were doing very good business. They had houses opposite each other. The parents, the father knew that these brothers do not love each other. They will not survive. They will cut each other's throat. So when they grew up, they started their own businesses. He gave them two separate houses, and he would live sometimes with one son, sometimes with second son. Now, as time passed by, the elder son did exceedingly well in business. The younger son also did very well compared to so many others. But he always had that hitch that my elder brother is doing better than me. If only I could do better than my elder brother. Because every time I buy a car, he buys a better car. When I buy a bungalow, he buys a better bungalow. When I buy a farmhouse, he buys a better farmhouse, a bigger farmhouse. You know, when I go to Indonesia for a holiday or Malaysia for a holiday, he goes to London for a holiday. So he's always one step ahead of me. So how should I do something that I must be able to get better wealth and I must make my life better than my elder brother? Someone told him that, well, everything depends on God's will also. So while you are working so hard in your business, keep on praying to God. So he kept on praying to God. So but the same person who told this knowledge to him, he gave the same knowledge to his elder brother also. So his elder brother also, the great Shiv Bhakt, he would go to Mahakaleshwar, Ujjaini, he would go to Maheshwar. They would pray to the Shivling, pour water, flowers, Bilva Patra, and Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. They would chant, but always their prayers would be worldly, that make my life better, get me this, get me that. But they were good people. So one day, God appeared in the dream of the younger one. And he said, my child, you've been a very faithful follower. You've been a very ardent devotee. You've been praying to God for so many years. So I'm very happy with your prayers. I'm very happy with the effort you have been putting in praying to me. I would like to give you 3 boons. So you can ask 3 boons from me if you want. The younger son feels very happy. He says, wow, I've got 3 boons. So in the dream itself, he says, God, make me a very rich man, a very, very rich man, so that I can buy whatever I like. And, you know, I must have a few acres of house, this car, and so much money in my bank account and things like those. So God said, Tathastu, and disappeared. But then before disappearing, there was a proviso in that boon which he gave him. He said, he played that yes, but game. You know, in management, there is a game called yes, but. Whenever a younger person comes to the senior manager and he says, sir, can I do it? He'll say, yes, you can do it, but you must do this first. So, you know, that yes, but game. So God gave him, yes, you will get that. But whatever you will get, your brother will get double, because he's also an ardent devotee of mine. So he, without thinking, he said, doesn't matter if my brother gets double. So far as I get, my life gets better and I get the richest person. Maybe I will be the second richest person on my town, but doesn't matter. So he says, yes, God, give me. So God grants him his first boon and disappears in the dream. So morning when he gets up, he realizes, like what Lord Krishna had done for Sudama, his house has become in a few acres of farmhouse, a beautiful building, all servants around, beautiful cars, and his wife is willing to getting ready to welcome him downstairs and tell him that, look, overnight God has blessed us. Our house has become into a palace. He feels very happy. But as he turns out and peeps from the window, he sees his brother's area is in 10 acres. His is in 5 acres. His is in 10 acres. And his palace is double the size of his. So his heart sinks in a little bit. Oh my God, did I do the right thing by doing it? He said, doesn't matter, but I'll try to beat my elder brother somewhere. Then next night, again, God comes into his dream and says, my son, are you happy? He says, God, I'm very happy, but get me so much money so that I don't have to work for the rest of my life. My life will be so better and I will be so happy. So do that. So put all my cupboards, all my bags and baggages full of money and gold and jewelry so that my children also don't have to work. God says Tathastu and disappears. Next day, when he gets up, he realizes all his cupboards are full of money. The currency notes are literally flowing out of the drawers. He opens up his bedroom drawer and there the money is flowing out. He opens up his bathroom to open up his toothpaste. The money is falling out. He says, wow, my life will become better now with so much money. I can do anything. But then he goes out and sees, let me see what my brother is doing. I'm sure he will not have got this good luck. And there he sees he sees his brother with a shovel and he's trying to put in the money which is coming out of the doors. So much of money is falling out. He has to literally push with people and there are 3 or 4 servants who are helping him push the money inside the room. The money is flowing out. Now again, he feels very sad. My God, my life is becoming better, but my brother's life is becoming double better. So what should I do? Anyway, he somehow cribs and he sleeps again in the night. Now the third night, again, God appears to him in the dream. He says, you are the last boon, my son. Think intelligently and ask, what do you want? He says, God, now look at that meanness of the younger brother. He says, God, give me a mild heart attack. So God said, why would you want a mild heart attack? He said, God, if I get a mild heart attack, my brother has been getting double of whatever I've been getting. So my brother will get a severe heart attack and of all you know, he may pop off. He may go off and I will get all that wealth. So God also does like this. And he says, well, quantitatively speaking, your life doesn't become better with more money, with more ornaments, with more jewelry. There is only a limit to which you can do. End of the day, you're going to eat only that much. You cannot probably store that much and probably think that you're going to eat jewels and currency and 2,000 rupee notes and 500 rupee notes. So this is the story in short for all of us. We are the ones who are wanting to make our life quantitatively better. And we all aspire that if I'll be happy if my house is bigger. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy, my life will become better once I have a bigger car. My life will become better when my son goes to America. My life will become better qualitatively. Quantitatively, we have understood in this first half an hour how we can make our lives better quantitatively. So now let's understand how we make our lives better qualitatively. Amongst the 4 principles which I'm going to talk to you about, how to make your lives qualitatively better, the first one is self-improvement. Self-improvement. The problem is, you know, in Hindi, we call people who are prone to give advice to people, we call them Raichand. They love to give their advice to people. And if you ask someone in this world, what is easiest to give away? So you will say advice is the easiest thing to give, because if somebody comes to you and says, what should I do? Oh, do this. My experience tells you. And then you will feel, I the great. Look, I solved this problem. But when it comes to yourself, are you following it yourself? So it will set you thinking that, am I doing it correctly or not? And what is the example? The example is when you're sitting at home and a phone call comes and your child picks up the phone and you owe some money to somebody and that uncle is calling up. So the child puts the phone down and comes and tells Papa, Sharma uncle is calling you up and he says that he wants to talk to you. So Papa knows that Sharma uncle is calling because I owe him that money and he wants that money back. So he said, go and tell him that I'm not at home. The first thing which we tell a child, how to speak a lie. So the child who's innocent, he goes and tells Sharma uncle, my papa is saying that he is not at home. So what happens? Sharma uncle obviously knows papa is sitting there, but then the child has learned the first lesson of speaking untruth, because the parent only is teaching the child how to speak untruth. How do we blame? Again, the tap and the overhead tank connection comes into play here. So now when we talk in making our lives better qualitatively, the first thing is self-improvement. How do I make my life better? We always advise others that you do this, you do that, and your lives will become better. You know, I'm prone to traveling a lot throughout the pre-pandemic time, that is. I used to travel through the lengths and breadths of India and even abroad, and talking to lots of school children, talking to a lot of teachers. And you know, wherever I would go, I would ask the children one question. And you must also ask this question to your children frequently and see their answers change. And you will understand how the children have understood your lessons. Wherever I would go, I would ask the children one question. What do you want to become when you grow up? And the answers would be, obviously, the children would say, I want to become a doctor. I want to become an engineer. I want to become a chartered accountant. I want to become a lawyer. I want to become an IAS officer. I want to become a hotshot MBA. I want to do this. I want to go and study abroad. Some of them would say, and this pattern I'm following from the last 30 years. And now the questions which I ask, the doctor, engineer, lawyer, chartered accountants are there. But now I hear answers like, I would like to become a cosmonaut. Wow, that's a great answer I get. Then some of them say, sir, I would like to become a sports person. I would like to go and join IPL. I would like to play cricket. Wow. Earlier, you know, there was a saying when I was a student that my grandfather used to say, I hope I remember it. पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब खेलोगे कूदोगे होगे खराब. This was what I remember my grandfather used to tell me, and he used to motivate me to study. But now if you ask, probably, so पढ़ोगे लिखोगे होगे खराब खेलोगे कूदोगे खेलोगे IPL तो होगे नवाब. So that is the trend now. So with that, I am realizing the children telling me that, well, I would like to become a sports person. I was very impressed. Then in south of India, when I went to a particular school, and I asked the children, what do you want to become? To my surprise, this answer I never got. Two children from the class, one girl and one boy, they independently suggested from two different classes that when I grow up, I want to become a teacher. I want to become a teacher. Oh my God, it hit me in my heart. I said, the child is doubly blessed because the child sees how much a teacher has motivated the child, how much the teacher has got that child in touch with the inner reality, that the child, when he gets up, he looks at it as his role model, as his teacher. And what does he want to aspire to become? He aspires to become a teacher. Wow. I mean, this is one answer which really changed the way I looked at things. But then after getting all these questions and the replies, I tell all my children, all my teachers also, that you must teach them to add one adjective in whatever they want to become. And what is that adjective? That adjective is, when you say that I want to become a doctor, say that I want to become a good doctor. I want to become a good engineer. I want to become a good cosmonaut, astronaut. I want to become a good MBA. I want to become a good chartered accountant. I want to become a good lawyer. I want to become a good teacher. In short, I want to become a good human being. It is very imperative for us to transfer this kind of knowledge to our children, wherein they have that urge to become good in life. You know, आजकल life में कितना competition है. If you have to appear for MBBS, lakhs and lakhs of children go through the test of NEET. And how many get selected? Only a few thousand. If you want to become an engineer, there are n number of colleges. But if you want to get into IIT, you realize thousands and lakhs of children write that IIT exam. A few hundred, the chosen ones, they get chosen into IITs. Similarly, if you want to do an MBA, every school, every college boasts of an MBA. But if you want to do an IIM MBA, Again, lack supply, but only few people get. So that means to say, for everything in life, there is so much of competition around, but there is only one field which does not have too much competition. So you must promote the idea of the children to do and follow that path. And what is that path? That path of being a good human being. There is no competition. Nobody teaches you ever to be a good human being. Are bhai, we must try and imbibe that seed of goodness in the hearts of the small children, so that when the water of time is poured on them, each one becomes a vatavraksha. Each one becomes a great person who will give shadow to so many tired people who are going and walking by that past. And to start with it, we can be the first ones who can become. You know, when we always tell that you do this, you do that, you do that, we don't realize that we are only speaking. But when you do yourselves good, so first be, then do, and then tell. The philosophy of life is first be good, second do good, and then tell good. But we obviously follow the opposite. We tell them to do good. We don't try to do any good. And being good, well, I am good. I'm next to God. I mean, who can ever test me on this front? So I'm reminded of a very live example which happened in my life. You know, when I was a student, I was studying in Baba's University, and in an MCOM, when I was pursuing my MCOM before I was made a lecturer there was a subject we were taught in MCOM, which is taught in MBA also, that is known as organization behavior. And in this organization behavior, it teaches you how people react in an organization, how we must behave in an organization, how we must motivate all people who work under us. A very beautiful subject. And on top of it, to teach it all, there was a clinical psychiatrist by name Dr. Shankar Datta, who had come on a sabbatical to spend his 3 months in Puttaparthi then. And he was chosen to teach us because we were not having a proper lecturer to take the subject for us then. And he gladly agreed because he was on a sabbatical for 3 months. Our classes, our semester was also for 3 months. And he taught us the subject to this date, almost 35 years ago. I still remember his face and his name because he was one person who motivated us a lot, who really taught us how to be a good person. So he gave us one day, one example. You can do this example right now as I'm talking to you. You have a pen and paper with you. One day he came to our class and he told us, each one of you, I will give you 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, write down 3 negative qualities in your own nature. Right now you're sitting at your homes, but at that time we were sitting on a double desk with our best friend next to us, and we never wanted anyone to know what we are writing. So he told us, write down 3 negative qualities which you bear in your character, and don't show it to anybody, and see how many of you can write down. But I'm giving you only 3 minutes. You all know yourself very well. We said, yes, sir, we surely know. So now write down 3 negative qualities in yourself. Now, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, the clock started running. It was 3 minutes. It was 4 minutes. It was 5 minutes. But we were still thinking and wondering, 3 negative qualities in myself. My God, there was one Maryada Purushottam Ram, and after that, I think it is me. How can I have negative qualities in me? But then yet those 5 minutes passed and he says, stop, please pen down. Now tell me, how many of you could identify 3 negative qualities in not 3 minutes, but 5 minutes? I gave you 2 minutes more. So everyone looked around like a winner and see who is that culprit who's got 3 negative qualities. Nobody. But at the end, there was one boy who said, okay, let me at least confess. With great reluctance, he gradually, very, fearfully, he raised his hand at the back, hiding behind, sir, I could identify 3 negative qualities. Mr. Shankar Datta hummed. Boy, you need to improve a lot. Okay. Who amongst all of you have 2 negative qualities? So we looked around again. There was quite a handful who could identify 2 negative qualities, and we looked around as a bronze medal winner, 2 negative qualities. Now, how many of you have got only 1 negative quality? Now, amongst us, all of us looked very proudly and raised our hands that I have 1 negative quality in me. Great. You guys will do very well in life. Now, is there any candidate who has no negative quality whatsoever? Now, we wanted to see who the gold medal winner was, and we started looking around. And there was one guy sitting very quietly, wearing a very pious expression on his face. And he, with a lot of confidence, raised his palm. Sir, I don't find any negative quality in me. Very good. Wonderful. Great. I'm very impressed. You guys are taking spirituality to heart. You guys are becoming good human beings. Now, I'm going to give you another exercise. You are sitting with your best friend on the desk. He said, yes, sir. We are sitting on the same desk with our best friend. Now, write down 3 negative qualities of your best friend in the next 3 minutes. Wow. What an exercise to write down 3 negative qualities of my best friend. And 3 minutes, all of us started furiously writing. Before 3 minutes, everybody was done. Somebody had written 3, somebody had written 4, somebody had written 5. One guy ended up writing 8 to 10 negative qualities in his best friend with whom he used to share a chair, share his desk. So now the exercise ended. Now Mr. Datta told us, do you realize that your best friend could not identify his own mistakes in his character, his negative qualities, but you could identify. Why is it so? He said, because we are all externally looking at people. We don't internalize our experiences. When I say, hey, you're a culprit. But before long, we realize that these 3 fingers are also pointing towards me, that if he has 1 mistake, I may be having 3 mistakes. So before you become a judge and probably start blaming people, see whether you also have that wrong thing in you. Just because he's been caught and you have not been caught doesn't make you holier than thou. So if you want to start this journey of becoming better, internalize. If there is one person who needs to be changed in this whole setup of about 40 plus people who are sitting and listening and talking today, it starts with me. I have to change myself. I don't have to look at what Mr. Wadekar is doing, at what Kulkarni sir is doing, what Krishna sir is doing, what Karate madam is doing. I don't need to be bothered about what they are doing. I need to be bothered about how I am. And I'm reminded of George Bernard Shaw, who was a famous English playwright, who once said, forget about the society, forget about this world, just improve yourself, and you can be assured that there would be one scoundrel less in the society. What a beautiful way to say that. Just correct yourselves and there would be one scoundrel, one villain less in the society. So if we correct ourselves, we internalize, I think we have made that effort of taking the first step forward. So instead of trying to correct the world, I think we need to internalize. We need to correct our actions, our thoughts, our words, our deeds. These are the only 3 things which we need to keep a check on. My thoughts, my words, and my deeds. And more so on your words. You know, we have a verbal diarrhea sometimes, and we have a constipation of ideas. And in this verbal diarrhea, we tend to blame people. We tend to put down people to show how intelligent and how superior I am. Now get over that thing. So if you want to improve, you want to make your life better, improve yourself. Because God has given power to improve yourself, not your wife, not your children, not your family, not your school, not your society, not your city, just yourself. You have that power, you have the authority, take that first step. Now, after doing a self-improvement bid, there is one quality which we need to inculcate if we want to make our lives better. And what is that? That is, remember the saying, work is worship, duty is God. Just remember that. Work is worship, duty is God. Now, how do I treat work as my worship? Now, I can ask you a question. I can see all of you on the screens. And if you look at me, do all of you worship before you start your day? Do we? You can raise your hand so I know. Okay? So, well, yes, you all are agreeing that we do worship. We offer a prayer. We offer prayers to our deity. It could be Lord Rama. It could be Lord Krishna. It could be Mata Devi. It could be Sai Baba. It could be Allah. It could be Jesus Christ. It could be Guru Nanak Dev. It could be anybody. It is our deity. We go and offer our prayers. what do you do when you offer your prayers? So you say, well, I take a shower, wear very neat clothes, go there, and if it is Lord Shiva, I close my eyes and then sit down, pour water on the shivling, and I say, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. And as I do that, I feel peace coming over to me. I feel I am one with God. And I feel that act of pouring water on God is probably pouring water and giving water on myself. And I feel very peaceful. Stick, and the photographs of all the gods and deities, it gives me immense peace. All right. Someone might say that probably when I go there and I chant this mantra, Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. When I do that, I feel Lord Rama is blessing me. And somebody says, Shri Krishna Govinda Prabhu Nityananda, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Nanda. When I do that, I again feel bliss. So different gods, different mantras, different prayers, effect is the same. Now, you get out of worship. What is required to make your life better? That mood which has set your day, that feeling of worship which has set your day, you must treat your work as worship. Now, you must not identify and say that this is God's work, so I must gather all holy thoughts, I must gather all goodness in me, and I must pray. When I go to school, also, I must treat teaching also as God's work. I must see and feel that God has endowed me with this holy task of teaching His children. Let me give my 100%. Even though I may have problems at home, there might be a sick mother, a sick father, a problem with a husband with whom I fought, or probably I just fought with my wife and came back. My son is not doing very well. My health is not okay. There are work, treat your work as worship. So when you do that, those of us who are at home, when you sweep, you must sweep. I am sweeping my bad karmas out of my house. When you probably make a roti, when you are putting the belan on top of the roti, say that, okay, I'm expanding my heart so that everybody is loved. When you prepare, when a lady prepares a food for her husband, for her children, she adds in so much of prayers, she adds in so much of goodness, she adds in so much of love. And when a husband, when he comes out at home on the first of every month and hands over his salary to his wife with so much of love and affection, there is love working amongst you. So that love factor has to be working throughout the day with you. And for that to happen, you need to inculcate two more good qualities. And those are sincerity and hard work. Just these two become better automatically. Trust me, if you were to look, you are the principal of your school. I'm glad and I'm sure all of you will turn out to become principals in these few years. So when you become principals, when you look for a teacher, what are the qualities you will look? Other than the subject knowledge, you will want to judge whether the teacher is sincere or not, whether the teacher is hardworking or not. Trust me, if you find a person who's sincere and hardworking, leave everything, take that person. When you take that person through its hard work, and when I talk of hard work, I also mean smart work. You must also know how to do smart work. And when these two qualities of sincerity and hard work is there, work will automatically become worship, and duty will obviously be treated as God. So always look for these two talents and try to inculcate the good habits of sincerity and hard work in your children. If our country is suffering today at the hands of the politicians, at the hands of the IAS officers, at the hands of the police, at the hands of the decision makers, at the hands of you, at the hands of me, at the hands of all the people who are able to make a difference in somebody's life, who can take some decision. It is because we always look at a shortcut. We are not sincere towards our work. We don't believe in hard work. We take shortcuts when it comes to hard work. And if there is a maths teacher amongst all of you, and I ask you, what is the shortest distance between point A and point B? So how will a maths teacher define? A maths teacher will define that the shortest distance between point A and point B is a straight line. So why do I need to take shortcuts and go crooked ways and helter and skelter and not land up at the right spot? So do the things the straight way, the sincere way, the hard work, the smart work, and you would have helped inculcate a new India. If you can't pass it on to anybody, be the example, walk the talk, the habit of sincerity for your purpose, and inculcate that habit of hard work. And trust me, nobody can miss it. Even a blind man can notice. I have who's a top-notch industrialist. And at one time, he was rated as amongst the first 10 richest people in India. And definitely one of the richest persons in Indore. And being a dear friend, I once asked him, I said, what is the secret of your success? How are you able to do so many things, running a few industries? He had about half a dozen industries. On top of it, he was contributing a lot in the society, a self-motivated guy. So he said, whenever I interview managers in my industry, I always look for a good qualification, but I don't necessarily go for an IIM or an America return degree or anything. I try to judge whether the man is sincere and whether that man is hardworking or not. If that man is sincere and he's hardworking, take him on. And you will be surprised, dear. He told me, my people, this is one quality we really need to kind of inculcate amongst all of us. Now, the third quality, we are inching. I said we talk about 4 qualities. We have talked about first thing, self-improvement. Second thing, we spoke about after self-improvement, about sincerity and hard work. And now sitting in the school, we have a ceiling wherever we sit. Why is a ceiling put on top of your head? Why can't we see that blue, beautiful sky as you sit? You'll say, obviously, sir, I put a ceiling so that I can make another floor on top. I have only this limited space to live. I might be living in a multi-storied building. I have just one floor. So my builder makes another floor. He puts a ceiling and another person can live. If I have a bungalow, I live on the ground floor. I make a first floor. I put a ceiling so that my parents could live. My children could live on top. I can have a different section on top. So you put a ceiling on top of it. So when you put a ceiling, that limits your limitation of going up in life. So now I say that you must put a ceiling on your desires. So what is your ceiling on desires? I mean, I can see my roof. I can put a ceiling on top of it, but my desires are not visible. How do I put a ceiling on my desires? Huh? Desires are, they're like the sky. I want to reach the sky. I want to be a Dhirubhai Ambani, a Mukesh Ambani, probably a Ratan Tata. That is what is my desire. So how do I put a ceiling on that desire? Do you mean to say it is wrong to aspire to be a Mukesh Ambani, a Adani, or a Tata, or a Birla? No, definitely not. But then why should I put a ceiling on my desires? So now I'll come to that. You know, what happens is, in economics, those of you who've studied economics or who teach economics, they will be able to better throw light on this. They say man is a bundle of wants. Man is a bundle of desires. No sooner one wants gets satisfied, another wants raises its head. Hmm? And the whole life is spent on trying to satisfy and fulfill these wants. Now I take you back to qualitative. From qualitative, I take you again once back to quantitative terms. First, you were walking, then you desired a cycle. After you got a cycle, you wanted a moped. From a moped, you came to a scooty. From a scooty, you came to a bullet motorcycle. From a bullet motorcycle, you came to a Maruti car. From Maruti car, you came to a Ford. From Ford, you wanted to make your life further better. You bought an SUV. You made it life further better. You bought a Mercedes. You wanted it better. You wanted a helicopter. You wanted a jet. Then you wanted the whole world. You wanted to be God. You wanted to decide everything. You wanted to be the president, your prime minister, whatever. But the desires never stopped. But somewhere down the line, the life passed you by. And as you had a lot of money, you realized, I did not spend enough time with my children. My wife has distanced, she looks like a distant person to me. I never opened my heart to her. My parents have passed away. I did not spend enough time with them. I have no friends except my office workers who earn money and I earn money. When I'm sad, I can't share it with anybody. So these are things you miss out on when you want to grow so big so fast. So they say, put a ceiling on your desires. Now, how do I put a ceiling on my desires? So I'll again relate to you a story. I hope I'm not boring you. So can I relate to you a very beautiful story, which I'm sure you must have heard, but then even at the cost of being repetitive, you will have to bear with me because I'm not going to let you go. All right, so let's start with putting a ceiling on your desires. So how do we understand this concept? There was this king, a very contented king, a very handsome looking king, not like me or anybody, he used to look like a film star, a handsome looking guy, and he had a very beautiful, he had his kingdom and he had horses, he had elephants, he had camels, he had a number of army people, he had his prime minister, he had his defense minister, he had everything what a person could desire. And he also had one special consultant to him who would always be his advisor to the king, who would advise him, a good old man. So one day this advisor came to the king and he said, King, are you happy in your life? So the king said, yes, but would you not want to make your life better? Like we are talking here about making our lives better. The king said, well, I have a beautiful wife. I have a lovely kingdom. I have so many horses, so many chariots, so many elephants, camels. You as my advisor, how much more my life can become better? He said, sir, in the northern region of our kingdom, there is a dispute in the kingdom. The king has died, and who will be the next king? There is a problem there. Now, this is a golden opportunity. If we attack the northern territory, we can make that territory as our own, and your kingdom will become double than what it is. So why don't you think your life will become better? So many more people under you. The king liked the idea. He called for his army, and he himself, on the front line warrior, they attacked that kingdom on the northern region. And sure enough, they won over. The king-to-be who was there was a young man. And he said, well, you have won me over. So now how do you want me to be treated? So he said, I would put you in the prison. Our story, the hero of our story said. He said, sir, I have a better formula for you. I have a very beautiful sister who's yet unmarried. You have a look at her. You meet her. And if you like her, you marry her. And when you marry her, I will become your brother-in-law. And in your name, I will rule this kingdom. And rest be assured, there'll be no problems for you. The king asked his advisor and shook his head wisely. He said, it's a good idea. Now the king married the sister of this king. And now he had two beautiful wives. He was very happy. His happiness had doubled. Earlier, one wife, now he has two wives. So he would spend 15 days with one wife, 15 days in the palace of other wife. His life was going great. Then one day again, this advisor came to him and he said, sir, do you want to make your life even better? He said, how much more now. We have two armies. We will definitely win them over. The king says, are you sure we are strong enough to win over them? He said, yes, sir. The king again attacks the southern kingdom. He wins that also. Now, their king is very old and frail there. He advises the king who has won. He says, sir, I have a daughter who's extremely beautiful, who's extremely musical minded also. She cooks very well also. So why don't you marry her and you will have a third wife, and I, as your father-in-law, will rule your kingdom. The kingdom again looks at his advisor. The advisor says, yes, sir, good enough. The king comes down. Now he makes 3 palaces. Now he's got lovely time. 10 days with queen 1, 10 days with queen 2, 10 days with queen 3. He's very happy. His life is going around very well. Now, this advisor again one day comes. I don't know whether this advisor should be shot. So the king advisor again comes one day and he says, sir, the same kind of a thing is happening on the western side and also on the eastern side. So let's attack the western side and merge their kingdom in ours. They attack the western side. Sure enough, now the king has 4 kingdoms and one more wife comes from the 4th kingdom. Similar kind of a formula. Now the king has 4 wives. Now the king has to make 4 palaces. Now he spends 1 week with wife 1, 1 week with wife 2, 1 week with wife 3, and 1 week with wife 4. Now they go to the eastern side, they win over that kingdom. Now that king is wise. He knows that if I offer my daughter or my sister or my any relative, the kingdom is prone to accept me as a relative and win over this king. So now the king also offers his sister in wedding. She's also very beautiful. She's also very good in music. Now the king has 5 wives. Okay. Now the king is extremely happy. You know, he has divided his palaces, 5 palaces for 5 wives, and then he divides his time sometimes now. But there is one confusion in his life. Instead of being happy, he has started remaining unhappy. Why? Because the wives are fighting with each other constantly and they're vying for his attention. They're not happy with the formula that out of 30 days, you stay 6 days with us and 6 days with that wife and 6 days with so-and-so. Each wife says, no, you stay for 10 days. The first wife says, you used to stay the whole year with me. Then it became half a year. Then it became 1/4 year. And now I'm getting only 6 days in a week, in a month. No, I don't want it. I want you to stay with me. The second wife would say, earlier I had to share with only 1 wife. Now there are 3 more wives here. No, I want you more. The third wife would say the same. The fourth wife would say the same. The fifth wife would say the same. Now, instead of the king's life becoming better, it became miserable for him. He stopped remaining happy. Instead of becoming a better king, his life became worse. So he called that advisor of him, whom I recommend that he should have shot in the first instance. So he asked him, he said, how many wives do you have at your home? He said, sir, I'm very happy, man. I have 1 wife at home. He said, how do you control your wife? Tell me how, because I have 5 wives and they are pulling and pushing me in all directions. I'm not able to control them and my life is becoming worse. So tell me how to control your wife. The advisor says, sir, I have only one wife and I do whatever she says. So I do not know how to control the wife, sir. So he said, okay, call that army chief, the head of the staff. He was a 6.5-footer guy who looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he came there with the muscles bulging and he looked like a real He-Man. Salman Khan would probably look like a small kid in front of him. And he calls him and asks him, I said, you are a very strong man, a very powerful man. You've been heading my army for so many years. You have won me over 4 kingdoms. Now tell me, how many wives do you have? He said, sir, I have 1 wife at home. Now, who controls you? Do you control your wife or your wife controls you? The commander-in-chief puts his head down and says, sir, at home, my wife, whatever she says, I follow, sir. But in this kingdom, in the army, I am the one. He said, no, I'm not bothered about what you do with the soldiers and what you do with the enemies. Who controls at home? He said, sir, my wife controls me, and whatever she says, for her sake's happiness sake, I follow what she does. Now the king calls everybody, all the courtiers in his kingdom, and finds out, is there any man who can teach me the art of controlling the wives so that I can make my life better? So there can be a subject, art of controlling your wife. If any psychiatrist or psychologist is listening, maybe he can develop that line. So jokes apart. So now he doesn't know what to do. So he announces in his kingdom that tomorrow is a Sunday, a holiday. In this huge ground, I am going to divide the ground into two parts. On the right side, I would want that person to come and stand who knows the art of controlling his wife. And on the left side, those persons should come and stand who are controlled by their wives. Now, from morning, people start coming, and he, to his shock and to his surprise, he finds everybody comes and stands in the left side. Nobody's coming on the right side who can teach the king how to control your wife. The king feels very desolate, very despondent. He doesn't even eat food. But when the sun is about to set at around 6 o'clock, one patla dubla fellow, Sikya Pelwan, as you call it, he comes and stands in that right side, and suddenly the shanks start blowing, the drums start beating, and there are people who come running to him. They put garlands around his neck, put itra on him, perfumes on him, make him sit on a horse, and with that procession, with all those who are controlled by their wives, they follow. And then he's brought to the court of the king, who's about to get up very despondent. He says, wow, at least there is one man in this kingdom who knows how to control his wife. Now you tell me that art so that I can be happier, I can make my life better by controlling my wives. So he said, sir, I do not know anything about who controls whom. When I was about to come for your meeting, my wife told, you better be careful, stand on the right side. You dare not go and stand with that crowd on the left side. So following my wife's dictum, sir, I came and stood on the right side, sir. As far as controlling a wife is concerned, I have no knowledge, sir. So the king hits his head. He says, this guy is also a leftist. He also belongs to the left side. He doesn't know anything about it. So this is the state of mind with all of us. The story ends here, but the lesson doesn't end here. Now the question comes, who is this king? Who are the 5 wives? And why do we need to put, and what has it got to take to do with sealing on desires? The story was good, sir. You told, but who is this king? And who is this wife? Who are the 5 wives? So now, the concluding part in the story, who is the king? You are the king. I am the king. All of us are the kings. But you might say, sir, I don't have 5 wives. I have only 1 wife, and well, I would need to learn how to control her at home. If at all, you may ask me. But no, we are not talking of the worldly wife. Amongst us, we have lady teachers also. They don't have wives, but they need husbands also. But then, when we say all of us are the kings, and who are the 5 wives? The 5 wives are, first, my eyes, my nose, my tongue, my ears, my hands, my feet. My karmendriyas are my 5 wives. My eyes, they tell me, oh, look at something which will inflame your senses. Don't try to be holy. Once you're out of the school, look for something which will be good for your eyes. And you don't look at people with good vibes. Your tongue says, this is that sharp object which God has given, that 3 inches of that leather piece with which you can harm and hurt any person on this world. Speak wrong words, speak harsh words, and you have probably created an enemy for your life. The tongue, I can't control it. It just surges out. It speaks bad language. It gets angry and I speak wrong words. But do we realize why God has given this tongue? Okay, next step. My ears. Oh, is there any juicy news? Who's doing what? Hey, come on, tell me. Who's doing what? Is anybody doing something wrong? Please tell me. We'll go and tell the principal. We'll pull his leg. Are my ears meant for hearing gossip? Are my ears meant for this kind of a product? My life is bound to be unhappy because I am watching from my eyes objects which inflame my senses. With nose, I always want to breathe the best of smells, but I don't create good smells around me. My tongue, it always wants to speak ill of others. It always wants to speak the untruth. It always wants to gossip about people. My ears want to listen to gossip. And my hands, wow, why has God given me these hands to pull legs of people who are going ahead of me? How can he progress when I'm not progressing? So is my life going to be happy? With my feet, I would like to visit all unholy places, all doubtful places. All places where I can drink, I can smoke, I can do all things to abuse my body. This Kali Yuga, do that Namasmara. Clear your heart, it will cleanse your mind, it will give you a new you. And second thing, when you sit down to meditate, direct your mind and tell it, let me not look at those things which inflame my senses. Let me not see fault in the people. Let me see good in them. Okay, let me see good in Kulkarni, sir. What can I adapt from him? Let me see what I can derive good from him, Lata madam. Let me see what I can derive good from Lokesh, sir. Let me see what I can derive good from Shraddha ma'am, from Bhagyashri ma'am, from Pushpa ma'am. There are so many people around me. Let me see what I can gain good. Let me not hurt people from my tongue. First and foremost, the two sins this tongue commits. One is speaking untruth and speaking too much. These are the two sins we commit from this tongue. We speak too much and we speak untruth. So when you sit down and close your eyes, direct yourself, guide yourselves, give a self message to yourself. Let me not speak untruth. Let me not speak too much, and let me speak soft, sweet words to everyone. When you speak soft, sweet words, even to your spouse, if he's angry or if she's angry, she will turn cool. Let's say he's getting angry, your husband's getting angry. I have to reach office and I'm not able to find my shoe. You'll say, okay, I'll find it. And you'll go there, find it, and say, you left them in the drawing room while watching TV. So here are the shoes. Now, there is one way of telling your husband, you idiot, you are watching television in front every night when you come and drop your shoes, and then you expect me to go and bring them. Now, there, the day is gone for you. Huh? You've told your husband idiot, he'll probably tell you 10 other things, and he might have behaved idiotically by leaving his shoes there. But if you say very softly, I think you must have left them in the drawing room when you were watching TV, I'll go and bring them. End of matter. The guy will feel so guilty. Oh my God, I was shouting at my wife, where are my shoes? And I was the one who idiotically left them. You don't have to say that he's an idiot. He will realize it. So the tongue can do wonders for you. So speak less, speak sweet. Baba had taught us one thing. He said, especially those of us who are in managerial posts, all of you also, when parents come to you and teachers come to you, students come to you, they say you may not be able to oblige everyone, but please speak obligingly. This has been my guru mantra throughout my life. You may not be able to oblige everyone, but speak obligingly. Next, my hands. Let them be an instrument to serve all the poor and needy people, to all the poor and needy people who come in touch with me. Somebody who needs my help, my neighbor needs my help, let me do it. Even if he's a crook fellow, let me do it. There is a difference between him and me, which is why he's a crook and I'm a good person. Let me do my dharma. Let me go down and help even when he's worried. All those poor children and not so smart children, let me put in that extra effort into making them something good. When I go back, I would have really felt that I have treated my work as worship. And through these feet, oh Lord, let me take to all holy places, all good places where your name is chanted, your temples are situated, where I can work purposefully, where I can be a shining example to all my children, all my students, all my neighbors, all around. So you have to put that ceiling of goodness on top of it. You do all your activity, but put in that ceiling of goodness in that. And when you put in that ceiling of goodness, your thoughts, your words, and your deeds, all three will fall in line. So the ceiling of desires is nothing but infusing your senses to do good. Am I clear on this? So now with this, I come on to the last part of my talk here. I think I'm far exceeding the time. I love to listen to my own voice, I guess. So, but this last part is very, very important part. And I think this has been the most important aspect of my life. And that is having faith in God or having faith in values, the most important aspect in any person's life. It is very important that if you want to make your life better, you must either have faith in God or you must have faith in human values around you. You know, I come across so many young students, young teachers who come and tell me, they say, sir, I am an agnostic, I am an atheist, I don't believe in anybody. So I said, okay, you don't believe in God? Great, I'm very impressed. But whom do you believe in? He said, sir, I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I said, wonderful. Now, who is that inside you who says, I believe in myself? Who are you? Are you the spectacles? Are you a pen in your pocket? Are you this t-shirt? Are you your hair? Are you your ears? Are you your nose? Are you your lips? Who is this person who says, I from inside? Even when you say, I believe in myself, that I factor is nothing but God factor in you. So I appreciate that when you say that I believe in myself, it's a beautiful thing. That means that God in you is strong enough to say that I believe in myself. But yet, for those of us who need some external support, I feel that you must believe in values, you must believe in that God who's there around us always. If you don't do that, probably you would have missed out a lot in your life. Now, how do you really believe in that God around you or the values within you? How is it easy? I think those of us who come with the Indian mindset, who are born and brought up in India, believing in God comes naturally to us. Whenever we are in trouble, whenever we are in difficulty, we have a Ishta Devata. We have a deity whom we believe in, and we automatically pray to that God. Oh God, please save me from this trouble. I've put my foot in my mouth. I've done this wrong thing. Please save me. And most of the times, I repeat, most of the times, God does save you. He listens to your prayers. So how can we do something? So God constantly listens to our prayers always. So I'll give you again a real life story wherein believing in God becomes a mandate and believing in values becomes even a bigger mandate for you. When you say believe in values, there are so many values around us thrown around. The value of Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, the truthfulness, righteousness, non-violence, peace, love. If you adopt these 5 values in your life, even one value, truth, love, non-violence, peace, righteousness, any value you adopt, I'm telling you, you'll become a hero or a heroine in your life, wherever you go. So I will relate to you a small little incident. It's not such a small incident, it's a big incident, but to underline the value of God in your life, the value of human values in your life. I was a young student again studying in MCOM class in my university, and we used to celebrate a sports day there. And in the sports day, Baba also used to come and sit and witness the sports day. Parents used to come and witness the sports day. It used to be a gala affair in those good old days in 80s. And to make us do good activities in sports days, there were some instructors from the military who were hired to teach us gymnastics, to teach us certain death-defying acts, how to jump through the ball of fire, how to ride your motorcycle over 10 or 12 people, how to make your motorcycle jump through a ring of fire. And all these death-defying acts, they were taught to us and we used to learn because we were living in a hostel, so we had the time to learn this. And all to make our guru happy, so that he would feel proud that his children are not only good in values, not only good in studies, but also good in sports. So we were taught gymnastics, and gymnastics is, again, it is best when it is taught to younger children. We were in college going children, so we had to undergo a lot of warming up exercises, a lot of bending exercises to make our bodies flexible. When after months of training, we were taught first exercise, you come running, there was a wooden table, it was known as a horse. You come running, take your hands and take a jump, and you take a somersault and land on your feet. So you come running and take with your hands a jump, take a somersault from the table and land on your feet. None of us could do it because we were not trained. So there were 2 people to push us to take a somersault and 2 people to hold us as we land. It was done so that before we learn this art of turning our body and landing on our feet, there were two people each to hold us. So I came running with full strength and I took the jump, and two people pushed my backside so that I take a somersault, and two people were there that as I land on my feet, they should be there to receive me. Within a few weeks, we learned it very well, and we all started doing extremely good. And then we were told that do this exercise five times a day. But the juniors, when they come to you, smaller children, don't let them do it unattended. Two people should be there to hold them, and two people should be there to make them a jump. And then the instructors went to teach the newer sector of boys. So as we were practicing, one of our junior boys, who was a new entrant into the college there, he was in the junior college, he came, he was from Guwahati. He said, sir, I was in Army Public School and I've learned all this in the school. Can I demonstrate and show it to you? We did not realize that we were not supposed to do that to him. So we said, are you sure you know it? He said, yes, sir, I know it. So he came running with full pace, took a jump. It was not a very clean jump because he was out of practice, and he landed on his feet. It was not a very clean landing, but it was still a good landing. So we looked at him in awe. I said, my God, it took us months to learn that, and this boy already knows. So we gathered a few more seniors, and he said, okay, come on, do it again. So this guy got bored, and he said, okay, so many people to watch me again more. So he again kept running, went running, and came. And as he came to the near table, his foot slipped. He could not get that leverage of taking a somersault, and it was a half somersault, and he was about to land on his back. And had he landed on his back, he would have broken his spine. And to prevent that, he knew it. So he put his hand behind his back. And as he put his hand behind his back, there was a crackling sound, and his hand from this part broke into two because it could not take the weight of the body. And then guy was in excruciating pain, and he started shouting, remembering his mother, father, guru, God, everybody. We got scared. And then the instructors came running to us and chided us for not paying attention. We rushed him to the hospital. There was a small general hospital next to our college. And to our surprise, when we reached there, we were informed that the orthopedic surgeon had that very evening left for Bangalore, and that he would not be available for the next 3-4 days. Now we frantically started looking for an orthopedic surgeon. And at that time, Baba was not there in the ashram. He was away to Bangalore. So there were very few people in the Puttaparthi ashram, and we couldn't get an orthopedic surgeon. Now we got really scared, and this guy was in excruciating pain. So one of my junior boys who was in the school, he came to some of the senior boys and he told us, he said, sir, if you don't mind, I hail from Vishakhapatnam, and my father is an orthopedic surgeon. If you call him and contact him right now, I think by tomorrow he should be here. So we said, are you sure he'll come for one patient from such a far? It might take 12 to 18 hours, even if he drives at a breakneck speed, almost 18 hours. How will he reach here? He said, doesn't matter, sir. You please call on him and see if he was willing to come. Those were the days, there were no mobile phones, nothing. We booked a trunk call, a lightning trunk call, and we were immediately connected to him. And the doctor said, is it serious? And his hand is broken. Oh, I see. I think the boy requires immediate surgery. He gave a name of a few medicines, a morphine injection, and asked somebody to spoke to a doctor to set his hand so that he doesn't deteriorate. And he said, by tomorrow I'll be there. I might take 12 to 18 hours, probably 18 hours to reach here, even if I leave now. So you have to hold fort till then. We administered all the medicines and kept on chanting the name, the Hanuman Chalisa and everything, because we were so scared. We didn't want anything to happen to this boy. Sure enough, within 18 hours or so, this guy drove at breakneck speed. Those were the days of Fiats and ambassadors. There was not too much traffic on the roads. Flights were not there. Trains were scanty. So he drove down in his car and reached early morning, whatever may have been the time. And he was quickly ushered into the hospital, where without taking any rest, he went and got the OT, which was kept ready for him, and went into surgery. I think the surgery lasted for good 2.5, 3 hours. And when he got back, there were droplets of sweat on his head, but a look of satisfaction on his face. And he came out and he said, with God's grace, the surgery was successful. We have been able to save the arm of this young boy, and he'll live to see another day. And I'm sure he will be a good gymnast once he recovers. We all thanked Baba in our prayers and thanked that our good luck that this doctor came. We ushered him for a cup of coffee and breakfast. And there, one of my friends, he asked a very practical question to this doctor. He said, "Doctor, tell me one thing. How much do we owe you for this surgery for this boy?" So the doctor said, "No, I'm not going to charge you a single paisa." He said, "What, sir? You left all your patients, you left all the morning surgeries which you had planned in your city, and you came and you're not going to charge anything from us. Why?" He said, "Look, he's living in a hostel where my son also lives. If my son had fallen and broken his arm, you think I would have charged money from his mother or from him or from you for that matter?" Similarly, this boy, his parents are in Guwahati. How can I ask the hostel or his parents in Guwahati to pay me money for saving his life or saving his arm? I would have not charged anything because this is God's act. This is a service, act of service. I could have never imagined to charge anything. So then immediately my friend asked him, "But don't you think you are losing money in this proposition? You're a doctor. You ought to have charged him money." He said, "Look, I'll give you a personal experience of mine, which happened with Satya Sai Baba." And then he related his personal experience. He said, "When I was drawn near to Baba, because he used to hold these medical camps for poor people, and I was not a devotee of Baba. I was not even interested in him. So I used to go there to offer my service in these medical camps. And there I realized that all the doctors with a lot of devotion, like I said, work is worship. So they would treat their work as worship, and they would treat all the patients free of charge. And I started doing it, and I gained a lot of satisfaction. So one day I came to Baba and I was surprised. Baba called me inside his interview room and spoke to me. And he said, "Dr. Rao, I will give you a Guru Mantra. Do you want a Guru Mantra?" I said, "Yes." That Baba told, "You do my work and I will do all your works." So I said, "Baba, I did not understand what you said." Baba said, "You take care of my work." What did Baba say? "You take care of my work and I will take care of all your worldly works." So the doctor said, "Baba, what is your work? What is your work?" He said, "Remember, whenever a patient comes to you in pain, don't look at his pocket. Attend to him. If he's able to afford your fees, well and good. If he's not able to afford your fees, whatever he gives you, accept. Even if he says, 'I'm not able to afford your fees,' do not worry. Let him go. I will take care of your worldly work." He said, "Baba, but then I will lose money." He said, "I am assuring you, I will take care of your worldly works. You take care of my work." Now, Dr. Rao said, "I have made it my Guru Mantra that whenever a person comes in pain, an accident case or whatever, I don't set ki I will charge you this much, then I will set for surgery. I said, don't worry, let us see if we can save him. When I come out and I tell them that the surgery is successful, I was expecting a fees of 20,000, and those grateful people, they pay me 25,000, they pay me 30,000, sometimes 50,000. And I'm surprised. I was not expecting. There are days when I have to do it free of charge also. Poor people come to me. They said, "Sir, we can't afford." I do it gladly because I know my Guru will take care of everything, because he's assured me that take care of your worldly needs. So I have never had any shortage of money per se for my desires. My desires are few. He was a devotee, so he put a ceiling on desires. So he said, my desires are few. I don't want to be a Tata or a Birla. But yes, whatever I desire in life, I get it. He said, "But how is this kind of a faith that you have developed in your life?" So Dr. Rao said, it was 1982 that Asian Games came to India for the first time. And with that, the color television came into India. So all those people, you guys might be millennials, most of you, who might not have seen 82 or must have been very small to remember. So in 82, everybody threw out their black and white televisions and brought color television. So Dr. Rao also wanted to buy a color television, and he started saving money. At that time, there was a Sony television, a black Trinitron television, which was in vogue. And he found out in 82, it was 35 or 40,000 rupees, a lot of money then in 1982. So Dr. Rao said, I started saving 400, 500 rupees per day out of my earnings and kept them in a separate box, so that once I have enough money, I take my wife, and during Deepavali holidays or winter holidays, when my children come back from vacations, we will watch live Asian Games from Delhi. Doordarshan was the only channel, and you will watch it in color. By one day, Doc Saab said that I had saved enough money, and I told my wife that within the next 2-3 days, we'll go and buy a color television. That very evening, when I was planning to go in next 2-3 days, a group of members of Sri Sathya Sai Trust Vishakhapatnam came to me in my office and they said, Dr. Saab, you are a lucky man that you are enjoying that treat of your children studying in a school of Baba, wherein human values education is imparted, Indian culture is given to them. They learn the Sanskrit shlokas, they learn good stories, they become good human beings. We are planning, why don't we open up a similar kind of a school in Vishakhapatnam also? And we will name it also Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar, like Baba has named. He said, wonderful idea, Dr. Saab said. So what is it that you want me to do? He said, we have acquired a 2-acre piece of land, 2 or 2.5 acres piece of land. And we had made a list of probable donors who can give money so that we buy this land in trust and build a school thereon. So your name is also there. And we are now short of 40,000 rupees to get that land registered. And you are the last candidate. So the doctor said, how much do you expect from me? He said, I am short. We are 40,000 short. Whatever you give, we will treat it as Bhagwan's prasad and go ahead and work. So he thought for a while. He said, can I let you know by tomorrow? He came home and very hesitatingly spoke to his wife. He said, you know, I've been saving money. You told you wanted a new color television. Today, the trust people came. They wanted a good school, like Baba's school opened up in Vishakhapatnam also. They want to start a school. They are running 40,000 short of money. I have saved that money, but that I have saved for my television. I don't want to part with that. But do you think I should do something? You know, it was a probing question. And his wife, without blinking an eyelid, to his surprise, said, what are you thinking? Television can wait. We will get another television another time. Give this money. You will be glad that there will be one good school and children will get human value education. They will learn about Indian culture and spirituality, and this will help create a good environment. Why are you thinking? You shouldn't have even bothered to ask me. Sure enough, he was a very happy man because he didn't expect that his wife would agree so fast. And he came and called the trust people next day in his office and he handed over the 40,000. The trust people bowed down before Baba's picture and they said, oh my God, this is a miracle. We thought you will give 10,000, 20,000. You gave us the whole amount. Now there is no necessity of asking anybody. We are going and getting the land registered and we'll start the school. And then they said, Dr. Saab, we are very grateful to you and we should be always obliged to you. The Dr. Saab thought nothing about it and he forgot. He had counted that in that box out of which he had saved, there were 40,500 rupees. He parted with the 40,000 and 500 rupees were remaining in that. No sooner did this trust people go, he had some friends in the Rotary Club wherein he used to go and offer Grama Seva, wherein they used to go and do village activities, taking after the villagers, doing health checkups. So they came and they said, sir, it is our annual festival at the Rotary Club, which it does. And this year, again, we are going to go to slum areas and do the medical checkups. So keep yourself free on Sunday. And the same Sunday evening, we are holding a fete, Anand Mela, wherein we are going to have lottery tickets distributed. And for charity, we need 500 rupees from you. Now, Dr. Saab thought, oh my God, 40,500, God is testing me. I have given 40,000, so why keep this 500 also? He gave the 500 rupee, which the people demanded, and he was given 5 charity tickets, which he kept in the box and forgot about it. Now, he carried out that medical camp. He took participation in the Anand Mela and forgot about it. About 15-20 days passed away. And one night, he got a knock on his door around 9:30. His wife said, quickly finish your food. There might be an emergency case. So when he opened the door, his friends from the Rotary Club were standing there. And they started congratulating the doctor. They started pumping his hands and they said, Doctor, congratulations, congratulations. He said, what happened? He said, remember a fortnight ago, we had come to your office. He said, yes, you had come to my clinic. We had asked you that we are he But with these few words, I'd like to say that I'm so grateful to the Shegaon school, to the Chinmaya mission, which gave me this opportunity to share my thoughts with a few teachers. And I'm sure if we all put these words into action, we would help a little bit in making this life better, making our lives better, making this world better. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, Tribhuvanji. It was such a wonderful experience. We are here. It's like 1 hour and 40 minutes, but it was a really fantastic experience. As you were talking, the film was going in our mind. And we are very glad that and very fortunate that we could hear you today. We can take 1 or 2 minutes if a teacher wants to say or share anything about today's session, or want to ask any question to Tribhuvanji. I am sure there is no question at all, because you have explained the factor of personality development very nicely. But still, I want to give 2 minutes for our teachers. If anyone wants to share anything about today's session. Yeah. Any teacher want to share? Please unmute yourself and you can speak.
It seems I wanted to ask something.
Yeah, we have Shubhalakshmi Ai also with us. Ai, any sharing for today's session? I know we all are speechless, because the experiences what we have got, Sathya, Shri Sai Babaji, and your own experience, Tribhuvanji, was really mesmerized us. I want to give the control to Anilji for the final concluding.
हरिओम. दो बातें होती है when the silence is there. या तो लोग सब कुछ समझ गए होते हैं, या तो the other thing is कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया था. I don't know which one has happened with us. You know, there is a complete silence. I presume it is the first one that everybody has understood, and as Lokesh Dada had said that we are all overwhelmed. होता यह है कि you know, when we see cricket match, और जो हमारा ओपनिंग बैट्समैन होता है, अगर वही सेंचुरी लगा दे, तो it's for certain that the team is going to win the match. Tribhuvanji, this was our first talk of the series of 6 talks which we are going to have in the coming 3 days, and you have already scored a century. So I'm quite sure that this series of talks are going to be very helpful of us. When sir was talking about a student who learns better whatever a teacher is teaching, Guru feels elated, Guru feels proud. What else, whom else do you want to listen? A better disciple than Tribhuvanji. I'm sure Baba must be elated and proud, because this is not, I mean, he has been doing it since years together, a true devotee of Baba. Let me take a minute to tell Tribhuvanji that in the year 1996, I'm the youngest man in the team here. In the year 1996, when I was in Mumbai studying in Sandipani Sadhanalaya, our Acharya took us, the entire batch, he took us to bus, and we were asked to go to a particular place. When we landed there, it was an ashram. I do not recall what was the name, which place was that. It was in Mumbai only. And it was Baba's talk. Sorry?
Dharmakshetra.
Okay, Dharma Kshetra. Okay.
Dharmakshetra is Andheri side.
Okay, Andheri. We were in Powai. Our ashram was in Powai. So So there, that was the first time I got a Baba, and we were fortunate enough, since we were all in the white cloth, dhoti and kurta, some 50 of us, we got the opportunity to sit in the front row, right in front of Baba. Till the time I have not heard Sri Sathya Sai Babaji. I've just heard about him, but I've never met him. I've never heard him. That day, he gave a speech for around 1 hour. And he was, if I can recall, he was talking about some project which the organization was doing related to some water conservation somewhere down south. He was explaining how so many villages have got benefit out of this project. That day I realized, when I heard, for 1.5 hours, he spoke spellbound. I mean, before that, I had only heard Puju Gurudev ji speaking, I mean, a monk speaking such a good English. And what a convincing speaker he was. So that day I realized that it is not the monk who are sitting in the Himalayas. There are people like monks like Baba and Gurudev who are working amongst the people and motivating the devotees. Now, another thing, when your talk was going on, there were so many thoughts which were going on through our mind. One of them was, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand ji was a master storyteller. All of us have seen today during Tribhuvan ji's talk that what a good storyteller he is. See, what is the difference between a good speaker and an excellent speaker? A good speaker may use very good words, very good English, and may try to impress you with whatever learning you have. But an excellent speaker is one who is able to reach, to pass on the message in style. Whatever one wants to convey, one can reach you. So in today's talk, we have seen Tribhuvanji has given us so many stories. We were just flowing through his stories, which he was giving us. And at the end of it, what was the message? Whether it is through eyes, ear, tongue, and nose, whether it was through quantitative or qualitative, all stories he has said, and he has conveyed the message. That is the beauty of a good speaker. So another thing which I was really enjoying the talk when you said, your thought become your word become your deed. This is what we have also learned in my early days when we are the Yuva Kendra member in the Chinmaya Mission. There's a book called Self-Unfoldment. This is whatever our thoughts are, we become that. So take care of your thought, take care of your word, take care of your deed. Your thought become your deed. So many pointers. I'm sure our teachers must have noted down so many beautiful pointers which you have given. One which I like the most was take control of your tongue. And there are two attributes which you said, if untruth and too much of talking. If this one thing we can, I mean, each one of us, if we have taken one quality of today's talk, for me, this is the thing. If I can control my tongue, if I am able to, speak less, not too much, and tell the truth, not the untruth, I think a lot of things will be taken care of. And the last but not the least is, since this is the Chinmaya Vidyalaya, and sir, you are associated with Sri Sathya Sai Sansthan. So the tuning was very good, like-minded people, we say. So in your today's talking, we have seen whatever you have said, it all was sinking to each one of us because we are also tuned to similar spiritual thoughts. So I'm really thankful on behalf of NV Chinmaya Vidyalaya that you have accepted to come and be a part of our series of talks. At least, if not all, I'm very sure that I will be hearing you in the coming days and years to get inspired. And we are looking forward to interact with you once again. Thank you, and Hari Om, sir. Over to Dada.
Yeah, thank you. As you said, Dada, we look forward to hear Tribhuvanji again in the future. Definitely. Anything Kishore Dada wants to say? The final comments.
Sagam, so thank you very much, sir. You spend such a valuable time with all of us, and you talk a lot about the value education. And many times in our staff meetings also, I used to discuss most of the things what you said. And so I think definitely all the here we say Thai and Dadas to all the teachers. So uh, all of us are very thankful to that. Nothing to say. We are speechless. Whenever I listen, no need to speak. I think most of the time I become speechless. Okay. And I used to share that videos with some of the teachers also. Anil Dada must have seen some of the videos, or I or him, he has also seen that some videos. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you once again, Tribhuvanji. We'll end with prayer over here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Paschanto, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Hari Om.